my name is Bill Svoboda. I'm one of the co-founders here and really a brand evangelist. I get to speak around the country, to a lot of title professionals, real estate and mortgage. And Brooke, your role here?
I'm an account executive with Close Simple. I've been here since January, but I'm not new to the industry by any means.
No, Brooke, we're going to get a little of your backstory here in just a minute. But over the next 20 minutes, our goal is that you can take away 1, 2, or 3 things that are really going to apply to your business, or that you can teach somebody else. Maybe you're an underwriter on this call and you're looking and going, I could teach this to an agent, add value that way. We're going to be giving away an ebook. I think it's like 32 pages later in this webinar also that you can download, share with anybody you want. But our goal over the next 20 minutes is really to roll up our sleeves and give you so many little pieces of info that are going to help you what? Get more deals with Google. So with that, Brooke, here at Close Simple, we're all about 3 things. Efficiency, helping title companies with efficiencies. That means operationally scaling. We're about differentiation, helping you be this one fish going that way while everybody else is going this way, and doing it all secure-wise. Brooke, as we're teeing up this topic today of get more deals with Google, before you were at Close Simple, you worked in title, right? We're talking about differentiation today. Talk about why you're so passionate about Google. For anybody on this, and they're like, I'm not sure about Google. Why should they consider Google as part of their differentiation strategy?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, when I was in sales for a title company, it was here in Minnesota, and we would get phone calls about asking us about our fees or asking us about, what's the process of closing with us? And being the salesperson, it would be my job to ask like, oh, well, how did you hear about us in the first place? And they would say, Google. Oh, well, I just Googled title companies.
So wait, pause there. So you're telling me that, okay, she was a saleswoman at a very large, successful title company. You actually heard people say they Googled and found you. That's why they're closing there?
Yeah. I mean, talk about like free business. I was like worried for my job at one point because I was like, they can just get business off of Google.
Now, you told me too that you would actually each month look over all the files submitted. You could see where the origination was from. And those ones that weren't from a direct referral of somebody you've worked with, that was really where you saw the Google. How many of these do you think, like?
Honestly, I mean, so we were a large title company, but it would be, 5 to 10 a month. I mean, depending on the amount of, and we'll get to it. We'll get to it. I don't want to
steal a thunder. But what Brooke is telling me and all of us on this webinar is Google reviews can actually lead to more deals, which if we're talking about differentiation in a very competitive market, how do we differentiate? What's one way to do this? Google. So today we're really going to talk about that. And I want to show where we're going today. We've done this webinar. Again, we got about 16 minutes left. If you're counting your clock, we are going to open it up for Q&A after. We'll stay on a little longer, but we have a hard stop in 20 minutes from the start time. So section 1, why get a Google business page? Why even should you consider it? If Brooke's story there hasn't, given you motivation, like getting more deals, why? We're going to talk about that quick. Then section 2, we're going to talk about how to set up your Google business page. This is super valuable. We're going to give you actual steps to doing it, what you need to think about during this. And section 3 is we're going to talk about how to drive traffic to your Google business page, because if this could help you get more deals, we got to know how to use it. So with that, Brooke, I'm just going to start with section 1 here. Why get a Google business page? Let's start with this topic.
Okay, so picture this. You're looking for a home. Back in the day, yes, your agent would give you like their MLS listings, but nowadays you go on Zillow and what do you look at? Houses for sale near me, or houses for sale in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so the best thing about Google is that it is optimized to be highly localized. So they know your location, whether you're searching on your phone or your desktop, and they're going to help you find things that are closest to you.
So in your instance of that person searching for a title company, maybe they're from out of the city. If they're searching in Blaine, Minnesota, it knows the location. So that's one pro of Google.
Yeah, I even just ask yourself, like, how do I search on Google to find things? For example, I'm going on vacation next week, and yeah. So I'm going to Austin, Texas, and I'm looking up best places to go eat in Austin, Texas, best hotels to stay at in Austin, Texas. Most things I'm searching for are highly localized.
Yeah.
And so that brings us to the next point.
Yeah. Next point is this.
Who even is searching those things? It may not be your seasoned real estate agent that you're working with, already religiously, but it's those for sale by owners, those relocation clients who are working with, an agency or their workplace to find a place to live. Out of state lenders, that was huge during the refi boom, but still people are using out of state lenders for home equity lines of credit. And that's a great introduction to a lender.
Yeah.
New agents who have never had the experience of working with a title company before, and the savvy consumer. Because let's be real, nowadays, I think it was like 87% of people trust a Google review more than their friends or family.
I can see that. And we might hit on that topic a little later too. Okay, so next up, what's the next thing?
I mean, if you're going to a restaurant for date night, right? You're going to look up what restaurant your boyfriend's taking you to, because you want to look at the menu or you want to see pictures. You want to know, how should I dress? That doesn't really relate to, your closing experience, but consumers will Google you. I mean, like, there's no question about it. If it's something as insignificant as a latte down the street, they're definitely going to Google you for their most expensive home purchase.
Well, and you think about it, which place am I going to choose if I have a fancy date? The one that has 2 reviews or 122 reviews?
Yeah.
The 2 reviews, if they're both 5-star, I'm still probably going to go, the 122 is over that. So really, this is when that realtor refers a consumer to a title company, they're gonna Google you. What are they going to see? Last is, why should people get a Google business page?
It's completely free and it takes a very little time investment. Another thing that I want to touch on that we didn't put as a point was that it is like such a habit, muscle memory that's ingrained in us. It's most of our, home pages on our laptops or, our phones is Google. It's like muscle memory. People Google things before they even go to a website because it's easier to just Google than to visit the
Google
website.
it, but just Google it.
Exactly. So if it's free and it's easy, why not?
I always like to say, if Google does something, they will reward you for using that tool that they created. YouTube, Google reviews, anything that's on Google, they're saying, hey world, here it is. Use it. If you use it, we'll reward you. And so this is a great example. It's completely free, easy to set up. We're going to talk about how to set it up next, which is actually very, very timely. How do we set this up, Brooke? Setting up your Google business page. How do we do it?
Google my business. It's that simple.
Google my business. Okay, so some steps that once somebody Googles Google my business and they go to the Google my business page, the business page setup, this is what it's going to end up looking like. You all know what this looks like when you Google a company and you see their page. Brooke, let's talk about a few of the aspects that go into setting up the page then. So if somebody gets their business set up, what are they going to need to be thinking about?
Honestly, a lot of the times, if you haven't already claimed a Google My Business page, Google will already know that there's a business there. And all you have to do is go in and claim it and confirm the information. So if that isn't already done, enter in your, actual business name or claim the name. Once you've done that, they'll send you a postcard or something in the mail. They'll give you a call to verify the location and make sure it's legit. But once you're in there and the first thing that you want to do, other than enter in your information and make sure it's up to date, is add pictures. So between my time in title and Close Simple, I worked for a law firm marketing company, actually like one of the biggest in the world, actually. And we focused on Google My Business for lawyers. And one of the biggest takeaways that we would tell all of our attorneys and their firms is take your phone, take pictures of your office on your phone. Google Maps will already have like that external view of like the office building that you're located in or the street view. But if you take your phone, it has location services already. So when you upload the pictures of, let's say, your reception desk or your front door or your lobby, your waiting area, your closing table, then Google knows that they were taken at the location, and it just adds more validity to your profile, and Google recognizes you as more legit, which will boost you higher when people search for title company near me.
Well, I think about it, if I'm going to go to a restaurant, if I got a fancy date on Friday night with my wife, I'm going to Google the place, if I'm looking for it, then I'm not just going to look at the pictures of the food. I'm going to look also at like, what does the place look like? What's the ambiance? We don't always trust what companies say about themselves. So the more authentic you can even make your pictures, I would say the better. So yeah, instead of hiring a fancy photographer, take your iPhone, take your Droid, whatever it is, Android, take pictures, upload them here, make it feel like a consumer's pictures, and people trust that now. Like we see through fake, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's become like a sixth sense that people have.
So kind of what you're saying though is once they get their business set up, they get this going, the name there, they're going to add pictures. They just need to put they need pictures on there.
You need to. It's like a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
I mean, Google will let you do it without, but it adds so much more legitimacy.
Even if it's just a picture of the outside, something, we need pictures. Okay, next up, what do we got to do?
So in the past, it may not have mattered as much if you just had one Google page for ABC Title Co. But if we're talking about getting leads from people searching title company near me, best title company near me, you want them to be driven to the location that's closest to them. So if you have 10 locations, you want each of them to have an opportunity to suck in consumers from like those surrounding office locations.
We were using yesterday the example of a title company in Nebraska. Now we're in Minnesota, so I don't know Nebraska. Anybody on here or watching this later who's in Nebraska, I'm sorry if I get the cities wrong. But let's say you're in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I need to search for a title company, and I search for a title company and I find Nebraska Title, and they're located though in Omaha. And they only have one Google page, but 22 locations. One of them is in my city. If it only shows that one location and my realtor referred me to them, do I really think I want to drive 3 hours to that city? No. Google gives you the power to actually localize the search if you set up locations per location, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
Instead of one company profile having locations.
Yeah, which just adds to your kind of like army of reviews that's going to help boost you again higher for organic search terms.
Love it. Then the last point, as people are going to set up their Google page, what did we really got to be thinking about?
This is so important. This is like the golden rule of Google. Everything has to match. And I'm telling you, like, you might not think it's you, but you never know it's you until you look, because there's been so many times where I've like looked on a title company's website, or I'll Google them first, and then I'll see their Google My Business page, and they either don't have a website linked, or it takes me to like a broken link on their website. Make sure that everything is consistent. Make sure that the phone number that's on your website is the phone number that's on the Google My Business page. Any email that you might use, like either don't list one or make sure it's consistent. Make sure that everything is the exact same, because Google will reward you for consistency.
Yeah, so the hours of operation is an easy one. You can even put holidays in Google. Google, again, I said it before, Google rewards you for using their services. It's a free tool.
Yeah.
And it's what people are going to Google when they don't really know what your website is right away. They're going to Google your business. They're going to find that Google thing. And instead of clicking on a web domain anymore, I'm going to click the Google listing for the phone number.
Yeah.
I'm not clicking to the website. I'm trusting this Google search and the number right there to click.
Because it's faster. So as a consumer, it's easier for you to do. Yeah, absolutely.
Which kind of brings up this point here. Don't let the internet try to tell the world who you are. Tell the world yourself. Tell the world yourself. You can control your narrative in this one instance. Now, I have an elephant here because this is the elephant in the room too. What if you get a bad review? Well, there's power in those bad reviews. Again, look at that restaurant that had 2 reviews versus 122 reviews. I'm going to look at it. If that 2-star review, or if that 2 review only had 2 5-stars, awesome. If that 122, which probably does a lot more volume, had 1 negative review, I can see the comment from the owner on that. There's so much power in controlling the narrative. If somebody posts a negative review about your business, That's great. Just say, hey, we're sorry you had that experience. We're actually reaching out. Check your email. We want to hear more about that and resolve this issue. Because how many of you know on this call that it's not always the title company that has the issue? It might be a real estate agent, or it might be the lender did something wrong, but we look bad. Controlling the narrative. That is the elephant in the room, though. A lot of people might say, I don't want to get on this because,
Yeah. Two things really quickly with that. If you're the owner, I recommend outsourcing that to have like have somebody else that you trust do it. So that way you're not like emotional when you respond, because you don't want to be emotional. You want to be very level-headed when you respond to these, because when you sometimes see an angry response, you're like, oh gosh,
it's an attack against me.
And that might,
it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not. And it's probably against the real estate agent or the lender, because how many on this call know title? We never mess up. No, we have our fair share in this industry, just like everybody else. But the complaints that come, it's a part of business. I'd much rather people go to a Google page than find a Facebook or a Yelp or some other thing. Like
one source of truth.
One source of truth. Okay, so now, Brooke, let's talk about driving traffic there. What do we got to know about driving traffic to our Google review page?
Okay, well, let's be real here. You have a mediocre experience. It wasn't bad. You're not going to post a bad Google review or like tell anybody about it, but it wasn't good. So you're not going to tell anybody about it either. Number one thing, create an exceptional experience.
Yeah.
And you actually have kind of a philosophy around this I want to hear more about.
Yeah. So I have the 6-star review. Why 6? Because Google only allows 5. In our company, in companies I get to speak to across the country, I say, what's the one extra star? What can you do to make your people go, I can't imagine my life without that title company doing the closing? What is your 6th star? Is it the closing experience? Is it the communication? What is it about you? We need to focus in this industry on what is our 6th star, because Google only allows 5. I want to have a 6-star review, a glowing review about that employee's name, how they made them feel, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And here's a few examples. Like, I love this. Lori asked, I don't have enough great things to say about working with Dean Wathen at All American Title. 10 stars. I love it. All bold. Like, that is a great review right there. That is, in my mind, a 6-star review. Next one is this. Melissa, April, and the entire team at Network Title were so helpful and very responsive. We had a ton of last day items and got them all timely, able to be done on time. Thanks for the hard work. And look at all these exclamation points. That's a 6-star review. Those are the kind of things that we want your closing experience to deliver. So
all you got to do is ask for the review. It's kind of like in sales, they teach you like, just ask for the sale, see what happens, So our homework for you is ask your team, do you have a process for asking reviews? It could be something as simple as giving a card after the closing, like just print off business cards, say, thank you so much for, slip it in with the copies folder and just, say, leave us a review.
What else could it be? Like text messages?
Text message. You could send out an email when you send the email to the agent saying that the closing has been complete. You can also say, and leave us a review. We appreciate you.
But the big point is, do you have a process to get these reviews? It's one thing to have a Google page. It's another to drive traffic there. This is what the close simple emails and texts actually look like. We love this pizza tracker style thing, like file open, complete, closing schedule, closing reminder, closing complete. On that 5th one, that big celebration, hey, here's a link to the Google review. Maybe in a text message, you could tell the consumer, I wish you all could zoom in on this, but hey, we're going to send you a link for a review. Hey, that just gives them the heads up. But how are you making a process? This is how Close Simple helps title companies do it, automated. But what are you doing right now? Actually wrote this ebook. It's 32 pages called Get More Deals with Google. And here's the QR code if you want. 32 pages, step by step. We have 7 steps in there for actually getting your Google page done. If you want, download this. Here's the QR code. It's super easy. And we give away some secret stuff on there that I actually have never heard in the title industry talked about. I wrote this personally because I was like, I want to give a resource to people in this industry that actually will help them, not just create more homework for them. So with that, Brooke, we have one last point that we want to kind of talk about: driving traffic. Driving traffic. What's the last thing?
Let's say you have all of this set up, right? You have a process for asking reviews. You have a Google page. You're asking for them. Well, a way to increase the amount of reviews that you're getting is start a friendly competition, right? If you have multiple branches or multiple closing teams, tell them, hey, whoever gets the most reviews in the next, week, month, quarter, we're going to buy lunch for you, or treat them out to a spa day, or do something fun for them. Because it's a great way to kind of like motivate people to actually ask for those reviews, and remind them too, like, you're not going to get in trouble for a bad review. Negative reviews are so much more rare than you could ever imagine anyway. So, I mean,
and often it wasn't even the title company's fault.
Exactly.
It wasn't the company's fault. It was somebody else's, or a perception. And one little comment back makes it even better.
Yeah.
I look for the negative reviews actually on a page when I search it. I'm sure people on this call do too.
Yeah.
But Brooke, okay, so the team exercise, create a friendly competition. It's literally just going, hey, we got 3 closing teams or 5 locations. This month, whoever gets the most wins this.
Yeah.
That seems super easy that anybody could actually do.
Yeah.
And it drives the Google reviews.
And it's free. I mean, besides the prize,
Well, with that, everybody said we're going to respect your time, want to start on time, end on time. Hopefully you've grabbed 1 or 2 things from this webinar that you can actually apply to your business, or if you're an underwriter or just a connector in this industry, something that you can give as a subject matter topic that will actually open a door for you to have a conversation with a title agent. But here is, if you have questions, anything, here's Brooke's info. You can do a screenshot of that, or here's her calendar. You can actually set up a time to talk with her. We want to be a resource to help you go wherever you want to go in business. So that's what Close Simple is about. We want to help title and escrow companies achieve their dreams. We want to help you communicate better, communicate more efficiently, securely, and differentiate themselves. Awesome, everybody. Well, thank you so much for hopping on. Brooke, thanks for being on.
Thank you, Bill.
And this has been a pleasure.
Thanks,
See y'all.
everybody.